Oh, I like murder. I like death. I like sucking on big fat breasts. Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Today I'm drawing. Ha! Wow! Welcome to the Drawing Podcast. Well, that's a good note to start on. Hey, it's Gun Viking. Gun Viking. Viking with a gun. I came up with that. I came up with that tune. I made it myself. I mean, I stole it from Transformers, obviously. And then someone got a copy of the book, of my book, and then they, the Gun Viking graphic novel. And then they sent me a little video when they got it, and it might have just been a single issue, whatever. And then they sung that. They sung Gun Viking, Viking with a gun. And I was like, hey, that's a cool tune. I should steal that. And they were like, what are you talking about? I got it from your fucking podcast, you idiot. And I was like, buh? Evidently, yeah, I came up with that and then forgot about it. Which is the problem with doing things like the podcast, is that I say so many things and then, I can't remember them all. I forget a lot of them. And then if someone ever references me and something I've said, I don't know. Which is always a weird thing. It's always weird to have my own shit referenced back at me, as if I'm somebody. Because, you reference actual things. You reference cartoons and movies and music. And then to have someone reference me, I'm like, I'm not legitimate. I'm barely a legitimate fucking human being, let alone a source of content that you can fucking reference outside of the content. Sam does that occasionally. My good friend, my good buddy friend man, Sam. He'll reference like my old comics and stuff that I did at college. I've shown them on here. The old Wan Speak comics. Or just things I've said. Sam will reference them. Because that's like... I think that's a true friend who I'll say something that is potentially arguably funny. And then a friend will sort of remember it and be like, do you know what? That was so funny. I'll reference that. I'll use that again. I think that makes my day. When people reference, especially Sam, when my best friend references some shit I said fucking over 10 years ago, and he's like, yeah, that was funny. I did this old little comic about Sam, actually. It was called Underpants Sam, and it was a little bit lol random, but it was Sam just in his underwear. And then the next panel, it was Sam in his underwear, but with a katana, because he has a katana, he's into that weeb shit, I guess. And then the next panel was Sam swinging the katana around, and then the last panel was Sam in his underwear, but with a bloody bandage around his head, because he was fucking around with the katana and hurt himself in the process, which is very sort of indicative and true of Sam's general way of being. I feel like he's not necessarily accident prone, but I don't know, maybe he's a little bit accident prone. But he's just fun and delightful and funny and sexy, and I love him. And I like when he references my old shit. It makes me smile. And not a lot makes me smile in general, especially these days. So anything that does that is a good that. Speaking of these days, I feel I've been taking so long. When I do Gun Viking pages, I think realistically I can get a page done a day. Like if I sit and work at it, I can get a page done a day. And then I think, I've been quite slow lately, so it'll take a while. It's a bit annoying, but a page a week could work. You know, I could get that done, a page a week. That should be child's play. I've barely been doing like a page a month lately. I really want to get it done, but I've had such a difficult time making myself actually sit and draw and paint lately. So, and then there's been moments where I have gotten myself to draw and paint and just really not been happy with the outcome. I've been working on this biggish commission, and I had to tell the person that I was almost done. I told them I was almost done, but I had to message them again to be like, I have to start again, because I was almost finished, but I was just looking at it, hating it. And, you know, I'm not comfortable giving someone a piece of artwork that I just fucking despise. So that's going to take a while to get that done. And they're cool with it. They were like, no, I understand. You know, I know how shit gets, and I know ultimately I'm going to have a cool piece of artwork from you, so it's cool, take your time, which I'm very, very glad for, that they were like that. They are very, very good to me like that. But I've just had a very, very difficult time fucking getting myself into gear. But, you know, being horrifically depressed on a daily basis, things do get hard like that. And it doesn't help that I've spent pretty much every day, not fully, at least several hours a day every day for the past like 2 or 3 weeks just playing Fallout 76, because I really like it. I enjoy it. It's like Fallout but like continuous, which is really, really good. And there's all like new shit, new monsters, new weird things, and new factions and weapons and items and all places to visit and all kinds of shit. It's just, I like it, man. I like it. And I never was into like the whole survival mode on Fallout games, or Fallout 4 or whatever. Like, oh, and then you've got to eat and drink, and not just to keep up your health, but to survive. And all of this shit. I never really was into that. But having to do that in Fallout 76, it's just part of the game. And Fallout 76 feels more like a survival game because it's online, so you can't like just pause. You can't, what do they call it? Like save spamming, is that what they call it? Where like if you get something wrong, you just load up the previous save and try it again. You can't do that. If you die, you die. You respawn, but you know you've died, and you've got to fucking travel back to the place and pick up your gear and stuff. So having to eat and drink to keep your, you know, to survive is just sort of part of the game, and it fits. I'm not displeased with it in Fallout 76. Whereas if I'm playing Fallout, you know, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and then it starts telling, you know, if it's survival mode, you have to eat and drink to survive. I'm like, oh, I want to play those games a bit more like an arcade game where you just sit and play the game. But Fallout 76 is really like you're in it and you have to sort of, you've got to eat and drink to fucking survive. So this is the next page of Gun Viking, Viking with a gun. Do you like that tune? I came up with that. Well, I stole it from Transformers. Funny story, actually. This guy bought see, because sometimes I'll say so much shit I don't remember what I've said. Sometimes even in the same episode. So this is the next page. I don't know what the previous page was. Yeah, I do. It's your mother's cunt was the previous page. This is the previous page. I was quite happy with how this came out. There's going to be text in here and text here. He's going to be saying, I know you already know all this, but I'm going over it for my benefit. Well, not shut up. So he's travelling. He's trying to find that one tree on the map, and then he sees the dead forest with the green glow amongst it. Picks up his horse, runs to the fucking place. He's going through the dead forest, and then he sees the green glow, and he's like, oh my god, it's a skeleton in a tree. And then, it's like one alive tree in amongst dead trees with a green glow, and there's a cult around it singing or whatever. And she's like, what the fuck's that? And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, who's that? Oh my god. Oh no, it can't be. It's him. It's the god Viking. And then he's like, bind him! And so they all charge at him with ropes and try to tie him up. And they're all like, get in, you fucking... Throws that one off. Whoosh. Throws her away. And then he's going, eat of his flesh, drink of his blood, that you may become, unto him, his power may become unto your body, or something like that. I'll fill it in. It'll all be good. And then there's a bang! And he gets his head blown open. I should add some more... just little sort of bits here, because it looks a little bit empty of stuff. I don't know. I think that works. And he's like bang, and the smoke coming out of his gun, and they're all like, oh my god, I can't believe he just did that, what the fuck? And then they're like super angry, like, fucking get him. And then I'll put Photoshop text. I'll handwrite it, but then Photoshop it bright red, and it'll say blood. I really like this page. I'm happy with that. But then you see how I don't reference anything, because this is really supposed to be the same guy. You only know that by the hairstyles is how. So he's got spiky blonde hair. They don't look like the same people at all, but like bald with a beard, bald with a beard, bald with a beard, red head. That's the only sort of way I have of denoting different characters and things, is by hair. But fuck it, it works, you get it. Like, because this guy's got his sort of pointy mustache and little beard and some hair in the back of his head. You realise who it is. And then this one, they're all like jumping on him and over him, and he's like... This one he's got in a chokehold. Well, not a chokehold. He's just holding him at arm's length, sort of strangling him a bit. And there's another one here with a knife. They've all got knives because they're trying to get... And then, so I was going to put one of the women ones in here. Possibly like stabbing him. But then his hair should be here. And so I'm not sure quite how clear I can make it that she's going to be stabbing him in the back. Put some blood here, maybe. But either way, he's relatively unfazed by being stabbed, because he's been through that shit before. It's issue 3, I think, where he goes into his blood red berserker rage after getting stabbed in the ribs or something. So like being stabbed in the back like that, it's nothing. It's all good, man. It's all good. Her hair here, and then so okay, well then that's so. Well, it's good. I really want to focus on this arm. I might have to make this whole page bigger, or like make the panel smaller or something, because I want the arm to be quite prevalent. Maybe more veins. I don't know. One of these wibbly veins in there. Maybe bring her down a little bit. And then these are 3 panels of gunshots going off, but there's not really going to be a visible gun in each one. It's because that's, as I've said before, trying to think up like 5, 8, 10 different panels of Gun Vikings shooting guns and trying to make them all different, all relatively interesting, is a pretty difficult thing to do. I did think, what if I don't show guns in any of them? So this is just his face, which I think I need to tilt down a little bit because it's a little bit upright for me. So I'll tilt it this way slightly. And then just like, so this will all be like bright, maybe even just straight white here, with the flash of the gun going off, and then darker in the back here. And then it'll be similar here. This is his big arm, as he's holding a gun out, even though you can't necessarily see it. And then there'll be the flash of the gun here, a shell popping out here, angry face, and this is his helmet. So he's looking up at him from like this guy's point of view. This is a guy from behind, his cult robes on, and then this will be like pretty much all in shadow here. this will be shadowy here. And then, yeah, so highlights here, 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 from the flash of the gun. And then this one, he's sort of, this is his head, his helmet here. Helmet on his head, not his penis helmet. Horns. And then this is his thumb, and his fingers holding the handle of a gun here. So this, I guess, a gun would be like here or something. And then this is his arm and his shoulder, ribs, his waist. And then the guy on his back, angry man. Someone's foot here jumping away. A hand of one of the cult members here, looking a bit weird. Some shadow there, and maybe some like blood dripping across the hand and fingers, little blood droplets coming off. And then it's going to say, so this is bang, blam, and then blammo. I can't spell here. Flash of the gun. So in each of them, the gun isn't really visible, but it's clear what's happening is that he's shooting these people. And then the next page will be pretty much, I don't know, 4 or 6 panels of these people being shot, their heads being blown off, their bodies being shot to pieces. And then maybe at the bottom, like a wide shot of like, maybe from above, you've got like the tree here, sort of perspective coming down this way, kind of. This is the tree. And then like all the dead bodies around, and Gun Viking like stood, I don't know, triumphant or whatever. Blood everywhere, blood. Something like that. That might be difficult with the perspective, because realistically, if it's looking down with the tree, you probably wouldn't be able to see much under the tree, depending on where the camera is. So I'll work on that. I may or may not put that one in, or that might even be on the following page. What will be interesting about this though is, I think what I want to do is, this here is the skull in the tree with like the flowers, and like there's like a little bird skull and a other tiny human skulls, which doesn't really make sense. A little cat skull here. And then its jaw is like askew, and there's like a circular bit of its suit, and then it's like arms going up here with ropes and shit holding it up, more flowers and things. And then this will be foliage of the tree that the thing is in. What I might do for this panel on this page, I'm thinking I paint all of this bit with the skull and everything normally, and the skull's here as it's supposed to be like showing that this is somehow influencing their actions, but also influencing Gun Viking being there. It's all about this skull in this tree, so that's sort of overarching, and it's almost bird-like with the arms up and the trees and everything. So this will all be painted, and then sort of like really dark, maybe black outlines on this foliage, and then bright green fading into it here. So bright green, mid dark green, and then like thick black shadow leaves, and then have all of this part with the people drawn as it is, like here, faint blue biro for the outline, and then black ink, but like I'll take more time on it, make it a bit more carefully rendered, try to pull out the shapes a bit more, just a bit tidier, because I think that would be quite good. Again, similar to how I've done in previous, but trying to make just something a bit more dynamic, a little bit different, saves me having to paint the fucking thing. And then this chunk of panels, this is 3 panels here, will be painted normally, and this will be painted normally, but then there'll just be this stripe of crosshatch drawing in the middle, which I think will be quite cool, just stand out a bit more. And then if I do that and then I'm not happy with it afterwards, I can just paint over it. But I think that will look quite good. So that's why I've tried to sort of render this one a bit more than I have like these. Because this, I just need the basic idea and then I'll ink it quickly and then paint over it and it's fine. Whereas this one, I need to be a bit more precise in this stage so that when I trace it again, I can be a lot tidier with it. So when it comes to finishing it, I can be a lot neater and tidier. I think you get the idea. Today we're going to talk about someone. I know I've shown this. I've got two of these, Street Sketchbook and the other one. I've shown these before, and I've shown the artist before, but it's just he's been on my mind lately. So I just thought I'd take another little look at his stuff, and then whatever. There's a vague reason that he's been on my mind. I'll get into that in a little bit. I think he's near the front. There's some really good art in these books. I'll have to give these another look through just because they're pretty good. Oh, Blue! I forgot he was in here. Blue's cool. I like some blue. Anyway, you fucking Rosie's good. God, there's a lot of good artists in this fucking thing. We like a Rosie. We like fucking Blue. Oh, there he is. Who's that? This guy, Elf. E-L-P-H. Elf. Is that on screen? Yeah, cool. Yeah, Elf. He originally wanted to be a bank robber. Oh, same. But in 1989 took up graffiti instead. He's still an active graffiti artist in his home city of Edinburgh in Scotland. As well as a sought-after painter and illustrator, his early years were influenced by comics and cartoons, then solely graffiti writing until he realised there was a bigger world out there and began to devour artwork from all over. I use my sketches for most aspects of my work, he says. I draw a lot at night. The ideas seem to work better and there's no distractions. My sketches usually get redrawn as paintings or I use them for illustrations, finishing them on the computer. It's also a good idea. It's also a good release to just doodle away, even if the drawings end up in the recycling bin. Elf's drawings have a fluidity and spontaneity that show some influence of graffiti productions, although the materials are very different. For his drawings, he uses propelling pencils on walls along with spray paint. He's been experimenting with oil bars and brushes to do the outlines. Whatever the materials, it all has to be fast. If I spend too long on it, I'll lose interest. I like his work. I'm not like... I want to say this. I'm not blown away by it, but I do like it. Like, he's never been one of those artists that I look at and I'm just like, fuck me. Like, you know, there's a handful of artists out there who I can say that about. But he's one that I look through and go, oh, I like it. I like some of his shapes, some of his little characters. There's some of his characters in particular I like more because he does a lot of this, what I imagine, they may not be, but I imagine they're like made up female faces. Some of them look quite Asian. And there's a handful of artists. Has he only got these 2 pages? I swear he had more than that in here. Man, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Yeah, there's a few artists I can see he may or may not be influenced by. Or he at least has a few parallels with a few different artists that I can see. But like I say, I like some of his shapes. Little shop, little buildings in there, little funny animals. He's got really like nice shapes to his text that I like, and he puts that in with the rest of the drawings. But so he draws like these females. They might be from reference, they might be made up. Either way, to me, they're kind of but that's in general. There's drawing females, I do it a lot and I'm not necessarily happy with it, but I feel like drawing females in art is a little bit like obvious. But I only say that in context because what I prefer from Elf is these characters he does, which I can't remember where, it might have been online somewhere, I read him describing them as being like just like old fucking boozers you see in pubs with I think they called them piss slits for eyes, just squinty little eyes and big puffy red alcoholic noses, with thick Scottish accents, sit in a pub all day having a drink. I prefer those characters. Those feel a lot more sort of real and relatable. So I like that shit. I have a zine by him. One of his zines. That's signed. 77 out of 100 signed by Elf. I picked this up some time ago just because I fucking saw it and thought it'd be cool. And I got on. Because I like the guy. So I grab his stuff when I can. But the reason he's been on my mind is because a friend of mine said, in terms of graffiti, have I thought about using the name E1 or E1 as like a graffiti name, because a lot of non-UK, non-European people pronounce my name as Ewan rather than Ewan as it's pronounced. They pronounce it Ewan or Ewan. That's how they think it's pronounced. And so this friend of mine said, why not use E1 as like your graffiti tag? Because I'd mentioned to them about graffiti how a lot of graffiti artists will put 1 after their name. So if it's Elf, I think Elf has used Elf1 before. Yeah, so if it's Elf, for instance, you have Elf as your name, but then if it's like a longer wall, you've got more space, you can put, 1 in there just to sort of fill it out. And a lot of graffiti writers do that. Elf1, Elf1er, sometimes they will have like the number 1, Elf1, whatever. And I only use Elf as an example here because we're talking about him. I don't know if Elf has or does do that. So then I mentioned that to my friend. They started noticing it more in graffiti they saw. And then they said, why don't you use E1 as like your tag? And I was like, do you know what? That's not a fucking bad idea. So I did some doodling, some E1 doodling. That's E-W-O-N, E1, E1, E-O-N-E. It's another E1. I got some good shapes out of them as well. This one's like an egg with intestines coming out of it. I like that. E1. Got some nice shapes. It's quite cool as well because if I don't like capital E's in general, I've gone on and on about that before. But in graffiti, having the same letter twice in a word is a bit of a sort of thing. But if it's at the start and the end, and you turn one facing the other way, you get some sort of okay shapes. I've done that here as well. 2 E's. Sort of back to front or front to back or whatever, front to front, with an O and an N in the middle. Oh, that's quite nice. It's some nice like sort of tag shapes. E1. My water jar's getting fucked. And then skull tits. E1, nice kind of throw up. That's quite a cool one. Like the E tilting that way and then that way. Some tags, some old tags and stuff. And then it just put me back into that graffiti sort of mindset that I haven't been in for quite some years. And it made me remember this old graffiti game I played. It was a little like flash game online. And it came out around the same, or like just after Getting Up. And it was in response to Getting Up, as I understand it. Because Getting Up had a lot of advertisements in it. A lot of like brands were involved. I think Nokia and like obviously Echo Unlimited, since it was Mark Echo's Getting Up. And so a small like indie studio or whatever put out this little like flash game in response to that to make it not like a corporate project. And it was just like a little like, top down isometric view of you're a little guy in a hoodie running around a little city painting graffiti and stuff. You get to run away from the police and collect cans and things. It was a fun little game. But I remember the graffiti in the game, and I'm not sure how much of the game itself, but the graffiti in the game was by Elf. And that's how I found out about Elf. I was playing this funny, silly little online Flash graffiti game, and some of the graffiti was quite fun. The designs of the game itself, the art and stuff was quite fun. And so I looked at who did it, and it was this guy Elf. I looked Elf up, and I was like, oh, he does like a whole bunch of shit. He's got some shit going on. And that's how I found out about Elf. And then he's been on my mind lately because I follow him on Instagram, and I believe he follows me also. I think I do see him in my likes on my pictures now and again, not all the time. But he's not always like chronically online like a lot of us are. I see him on there now and again on Instagram, so he's obviously doing shit, which is good. Oh, Hellboy, that's pretty neat, pretty original looking. The old gang. I wonder if that actually is like him and his friends. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, so I was thinking, as I've mentioned about some other artists that I'd like to get some time to talk to, I reckon I could hit up a conversation with... I could start up a conversation. I could hit up Elf for a conversation. I reckon he'd be into it. He seems pretty solid, pretty down to earth. And I reckon he'd be up for that. And yeah, he sees me on Instagram. I assume realizes I'm a guy. I'm doing things. I'm not just some random. I'm actually famous, so it's worth talking to me. These are really neat. I like some of these letters. These are really, really cool. Some more fancy ones, sloppy ones. Ones with character to them. It's really neat. And that's something I kind of miss doing, is really experimenting with letter forms like I used to when I was like really into graffiti. Seeing stuff like this is really fun for that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd like to talk to him just about stuff, about his art in general. And also I'd like to ask him a lot, well, not a lot, but like a few questions about that old graffiti game, if he remembers it, how much involvement he had with it and stuff, or if he just drew some pictures and sent it to the people making it and said whatever. Because I think that's an interesting thing sometimes, is how you find out about an artist and then you develop a taste for their work and you find more of their stuff. Which has happened a few times for me, where like I've seen one random thing fucking years and years and years ago by artists, and then you just start seeing more and more, and you start recognizing their style more and go, oh shit, that's the person, that's that guy. I remember seeing this years ago but didn't clock who it was, and now I know it's a fucking guy. And that's quite an interesting thing, is how you find out about people, and then somewhere down the line maybe you even become like friends with them. So I'd like to talk to Elf and a lot of other artists about that, like if they've got a favourite artist or artists, maybe if they're now their friends, and how they sort of first learned about them or whatever. I really like this. I think this is quite cool, like using objects as letters. So that's obviously like a small E, like a round letter E, but drawn big. And that's like some weird bird thing in the shape of an L, and that's a thing and a P, and then this is an H, and it's an actual elf, and he's got an H on his shirt also. Little owl on the house. I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, like I say, just been on my mind a lot lately. Maybe I'll hit him up and let's go. Oh, how about some bonus content? This is the second one. I had it just to the side because I had the first one. So, and let's look at this, because I like this guy, Dran, French, based in Toulouse, which is in France, which is on Earth, which is in France. This is one of those ones where some artists it can take time to like get into. Like you see some of their stuff and you think, okay, yeah, cool. And then you start seeing more of it and you start maybe appreciating like, oh, okay, yeah, I sort of do, I see what they're doing. These kinds of lines, this kind of work, whatever. And maybe the more you see, the more you appreciate, until you realise you're a fan of them all of a sudden. Dran is not one of those artists. He's one of those artists who straight away I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. Whatever this guy's got going on, I dig it. It doesn't really need me to explain. It's just he's very sort of sharp, very funny, very witty, quite dark sometimes. There's a lot of humour in his work and a lot of like pointing at social things in the world. And lots of he does quite a lot with like childhood feelings and artwork like this. You can see his wallpaper and the kids painted or drawn with crayons this incredible image of the Scream on the wall with these great lines, but he's got a slap across his face and he's being forced to wash it off. I think that's really cool. That's a very cool piece. I like his style as well. Like his paintings look like drawings. I'm not quite sure of his process because it's the shading he does is very I don't know, quite odd. It's quite hard to pin down his exact technique. But yeah, it's stuff like this, like, you know, one of these danger of electrocution stickers, and then that's what it might look like in real life, being stabbed with a giant fucking metal bolt or something. And funny little characters, and he does graffiti, but mostly character based. And that's really cool. Painting of a pig with the little bacon slices sucking the tits. He does some cool sculptural work too, using like taxidermied animals and stuff. Deer, sewing dolls, and guns and things. Drawings kind of. I love that he does that as well, where he draws stuff like multicoloured to make it look like these you can just about see. They're like this, where it looks like someone's just got in a box of crayons and they're using every colour like a kid might do. And that's sort of what that is. And I like that. I like that he puts that into his work. Some cool little... I love the paper he's using as well. It looks like old, just random sheets of paper. Really, really fun looking doodles on them. And then, yeah, this is some of his like graffiti street artwork. The lab rat putting the human in the cage with a chair and a TV. That's smart. Painting in abandoned places and stuff. And I love this as well. So there's all these like whimsical childhood characters walking along the Rainbow Road or whatever, but then they get to a military checkpoint and they're all being searched and blindfolded maybe, and then sent towards the city. And that's like the rough sketch for it, which is cool because I think that's probably all he needed when he went to paint the wall. He was like, oh yeah, I'll do a bunch of stuff here, this, and then that way. But then the actual painting, I'd love to see that bigger though. It's a shame that, I know this book is about sketchbooks, but it would be cool to see like this, the same size, but here maybe, I don't know. He does a bunch of these where he gets bits of cardboard that have stuff on, and then he draws something based on, what is it, French Bible, the TV, I don't know. God looking at a receipt, I don't know. Starving humans, not great. Really cool though, really cool, fun drawings. He's got a fun style as well, like it's cartoony, but sort of real enough that the cartooniness doesn't kill it, if that makes sense. That's what I always loved this one. It's obviously the back of the canvas with the wooden frame, and so it's the back of the woman that he's painting there. That's quite cool. I love, he does a lot, again, there's the like childhood style drawings. I'll get back to those in a second. 3D glasses, and then like, so these childhood style paintings he does. I like those. But yeah, this is a really good one with the chimp drawing the people he sees, but they've all got bars in front of them because he's looking through a cage. Little fat kid with a banana. I mean, I assume he's using like acrylics and spray paints and just like almost just black for the shadows, but like not too many layers of highlighting or anything, but enough that it works and his style's good, so it fits. Yeah, I like Dran, and he's got books, but they're hard to get hold of, so it's nice to have a few pages in a thing. As always, the danger with having this just black and white is having everything sort of blend and mold into each other, and have there be difficulty in telling what's what. I think I should be able to work my way around that. Like, so this is a woman cultist from behind, so I might remove the lines on the top and just put the shading on Gun Viking's arm and use the shading to outline her, and then put heavier lines underneath and her shading here, leaving a white space. That should work for that. And I should be able to use that technique more or less all over to pull shapes out and keep everything. I think even now it's not too bad. I'll just I'll put in some work, and like I say, if it comes to it and it ends up looking shitty shits, I'll just paint over it, and then it will just be another page in the comic. So that's cool too. Where am I at? If I get my, and this is the thumbnails for the pages I've done. So I'm currently at this page here. Blam 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 blam, bang pew shooting. But I've done this much already, and I've only got this much left to do. So that's cool. That's why I like doing it like this, so I can see visually exactly how much I've got. And these two shooting pages I see now are a double page spread, so that'd be good. So on the left hand side, you'll have bang, blam, blammo. And then on the right hand side, you'll have splurt, boosh, ah, screaming, blood, and whatever. And then maybe it might work if I have this like the aftermath scene here with all the dead bodies strewn around, and then him looking at the tree, and then half the tree is in flashback as a kid. So a final shot here of Gun Viking firing a gun would be quite a good one, in amongst all the bloodshed and violence. And then, yeah, 1, 2, 3 double page spreads to go. A last page, which, depending how I do it, might only really have to be about half a page of actual drawing with a lot of white space. And I still got to do a cover, and I've got an idea for like an inside cover as well, so we're getting there. We are getting there. It might be, well, no, it might be, it is already later than I want to have it finished, but that's just how it goes. Can't always produce at a, fucking maximum speed, maximum level. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll have a good comic come out of it at the end, regardless. And I know I said how the next full graphic novel of this, so the next sort of 3 or 4 issues, will be the end of the story. I think I may then put out, so there'll be first graphic novel containing 4 issues, the second graphic novel containing 3 or 4 issues, and that'll be basically the end of the story. But then I might do a third issue, a third volume, but it will just be a standalone issue, so 20 pages. That will be like the epilogue. So there'll be the main story contained in here, but then there'll be like, and that will have a pretty good ending to it. But then there will be a after some time has passed and the dust has settled, there is a slightly further ending to really. So everything by here, everything's tied in a knot, but then here, this is everything tied in a double knot and pulled as tight as it can possibly be, just to fully finish off the story. And then, like I say, the standalone issue showing the 20 years between his childhood and him becoming Gun Viking we know. A couple of other standalone story ideas I've got, similar to the 24-hour one. So Gun Viking will still be going for another couple of years yet before I've really finished it all, which is good, you know. And then by that point I'll be fucking sick of drawing and painting him, and that might then be the sort of gauge at which I produce Gun Viking, will be whenever I feel like it. If I start being like missing Gun Viking, like, oh, I really enjoyed drawing him, you know, for the most part, maybe I'll get back into that, then I'll put out another issue. But ultimately, I think once I'm done, I'll be done. And then, because a lot of other people do seem to enjoy Gun Viking, maybe it'll become a thing like that where I'll do it by request if enough people are you know, screaming for a new issue. Maybe I'll put one out! I don't think I can really do much more with this now. I need to buy some more thick paper to paint on, so I might do that tomorrow. So for now, that might have to be that. I guess I could thumbnail out the next page, but I don't really feel like it. What I do have, because for the Illustrated World Series contest, I had to clear my desk completely, which is a fucking ball ache because there's so much shit everywhere. But when I did that, I had loads of post-it notes just in spaces, just crammed into everywhere. So I gathered them all up, and they're here. And I thought this might be a good time to just go through some of them and see how hilarious they are, and maybe stick some of them in my anus, but also stick some of them in my notes book, my famous book of notes, my notes book. And maybe I'll let you in on a secret, in that some of these were maybe like, I don't know which ones, but some of them might have been written like this big on a post-it note. So then I rewrote the note bigger on a post-it note so it could go in the book. Just so for this book it's a bit more clear what I was going for. So we have these. This is from the that's somebody's name on Instagram I needed to know. A very Ewan activity book. That was recent. Jesus Penis Rhyme. That's a good one for the book. Path Over Obstacles or Poo. That was whatever. MF Doom Among Us. That's quite a good one. One Big Titty. That's a good one. Did those drawings. Goofy Goober. SpongeBob did that drawing. That was a good one. The 3D skulls and Drop Dead Fred. I realised I just showed someone's address on camera. So, see, sometimes I'll use post-it notes to actually write stuff like that. So if there's any edits, I apologise. Some songs on that one. It's a blank one I can use. Wanted a Bauman. Now they're ripe. Over one. Don't want to... Oh! That was to remind me to talk about the banana. See, because I wanted a banana, but I bought them green. So I figure, I'll let them ripen a bit in a couple of days and then I'll have a banana. But then when they were ripe, I didn't want a banana anymore. Yeah, I'll throw that one away because that's not... things piling up. Rejection, feeling like shit. Wordle, penis. That's just me being miserable. And these, a lot of them, ones like that and the banana one, are reminding myself of things I can talk about on the podcast. Little notes about topics of discussion. I think this is another one of those, a sense of self. That's still something I want to talk about. The feeling like I don't have a sense of self necessarily, or I don't feel comfortable expressing my full self. How I'm anti-nice or anti-everything. I don't like things to be too nice. I like a bit of meanness, a little bit of dirt, a bit of anger. I can't stand, especially in art, when art's just so quaint and nice. Sometimes it's nice to see cute art, but when it's just constantly just nice, 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 and that's all that gets shared, it becomes really fucking annoying. Severance and Frog 2 shows. One of them was good, one wasn't. Piano gimmicks. Feel best after finishing paintings. I spoke about that, about how I get the hardest boners after I finish paintings. If I finish a Gun Viking page, Rock Hard Penis after something like that. The guy that painted pigeons and ignored me at that exhibition. Spoke about that. That was some more people's addresses. Ropsteady and Bebop. See, instead of Rocksteady and Bebop. Ropsteady and Bebop. Business cards. Business carbs. That could be used. Business carbs. Carbohydrates, but for business. They Live Aliens and Garbage Shirts. That was an idea. I might still use that one. That was just an idea of something to draw. Garbage shirts could work. Just t-shirts printed with drawings of like garbage bags and stuff. I thought that'd be quite funny. Abe's Odyssey, Goblin versus Hobgoblin. Things to draw. I don't know. Image and Dark Horse proposals need. That was reminding myself. That's some shit. Bed Chase comic. Gun Viking reference sheet. I think the Bed Chase comic was going to be like some black and white noir comic of a guy running through streets, like holding his stomach. Maybe he's bleeding a little bit. Just running through streets, running down alleys, constantly looking over his shoulder, you know, under street lights and stuff, running up fire escapes and past crowds of people, knocking boxes over, all that kind of shit. And then getting to a dead end, and finally, you know, this big silhouette shape comes towards him, and he can't escape. And then it like lunges at him, and then you see him like it's a bed, and the bed sort of wrestles him to the ground, and then in the last panel he's like wrapped up in bed, nicely comfortable sleeping. And then it'd say like how it feels to you trying to wake up in the morning or whatever, something like that, you know, or your bed just fucking beckons you back. And I was also going to do a Gun Viking reference sheet, which I still might do, as like if anyone wants to draw Gun Viking, it will be a nice little plain reference sheet, as these are the basics of how to go about drawing Gun Viking. Phallus birds. That was a thing in Greece. A friend showed me sculptures and things of. I might do something with that. Never nude to avoid feeling like a silly Billy. That's me. Don't like being naked because I just feel a bit silly. Things to draw, I guess. Pigsy and Vault Boy. Or like a Pigsy and Vault Boy style. I've been over all of that. Cheech Wizard, but a tit instead. See, like a... You know, you've got Cheech Wizard with the hat. And then, like, the legs. Like that, but a big tit with a nipple. And then still with the stars on it, like Cheech Wizard with legs. It could be funny. I don't know. Shut up. Bland, rehearsed tropes. Feels like every modern film originally had its own eye. Oh, that was some shit. Oh, that was also some shit. It was to do with the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Public detective, like a private detective. I've been over that one. That was some shit. Peppa Pig Slaughterhouse. Oh yeah, I was going to draw like I probably spoke about this as well, but draw like a really realistic scene of a slaughterhouse, with, you know, like strung up pig torsos and ribs showing, blood all over the floor, and then maybe the closest one to the camera, a guy slicing through it. But it's Peppa Pig. Goblin versus Hobgoblin. That's an old one. Hey, that's the lyrics to Panasonic Blu-ray, $99. 32-inch LCD TV, $299. LG 42-inch HD TV, $489. See, I wrote that down so I could remember it, so I could sing it to you better. White girls following me on Instagram foolishly. What are they doing? 12-inch record cover book. Book? Like print a book. I've spoken about that before, but like print a book. Quite a thin one, but like to the size of a 12-inch vinyl record, and then like have a vinyl record cardboard cover and sell it as if it were a record, but it's a book. Important measurements. Yeah, that's spoonerisms. They're funny. Pregnant bikini contest. Oh, these were things for me to maybe draw. Pregnant bikini contest, I did that. Art comics, two-hand drawing, mass doodles, photorealistic drawings. Oh, just comics bashing popular kinds of artwork. Like, oh, I drew with two hands, amazing. Oh, I drew photorealistic, amazing. You an advent calendar, and you open up the little door and there's a little prize inside, and every prize is a piece of shit. Come fly with me. Come fly with me. Shit in my piss on my shit comic. Oh, I do remember that. That was going to be, I guess Family Guy did it with chocolate and peanut butter, but two guys walking along the street holding things, boxes or whatever, and they bump into each other, and then they go, oh, you got shit all over my piss, and then the other one goes, oh, you got piss all over my shit, because one of them's holding a box of shit, one of them's holding a jar of piss, and they get piss on my shit and shit in my piss, and then the last panel, they're like making out on the floor or something. So that's I'll keep that one. Oh, I've got some plain post-it. Let's put them in the book. Could it do? Because these ones are all worth keeping hold of. What have I got? Disemboweled instead of disemboweled. Skateboarding animals. I still need to do that. Goblin versus Hobgoblin. Phallus birds. Importante. Peppa Pig slaughterhouse. Question mark. They live aliens and garbage t-shirts. 3D Skull and Drop Dead Fred. Jesus penis. Kind of rhymes. One big titty. These are both visual ones. That's cool. A lot of them are just words, but it's good to have pictures on them. We've got Among Doom Us. Doom Among Us. There is Doom Among Us. I don't know. Goofy Goober. Scientifically accurate amputation comic. Good idea. Take a shower, shake a tower. Spoonierisms. And Public Detective, question mark. Like private detective, but public. Just in case there was any misunderstanding, let's flip to a random page, see if there's any good ones. Free popcorn chicken. Oh, that was a funny story. Judging people on their looks. Yep. So okay, so a lot of these aren't funny. Rhymes with gun, Viking, thumb, tongue, Viking, sun, bum Viking, cum Viking, fun Viking, crumb Viking, scrum Viking. Replace the word money with monkey everywhere. That was still a good idea. How much monkey does this cost? Oh, I've got no monkey left. My account is empty. I have no monkey. This person has the most monkey in the world. See, that'd be funny. Stand-up tragedist instead of a stand-up comedian. Or instead of getting up and telling jokes, you get up and just be miserable and sad for an hour and a half. Burger Party. Oh, that guy. He's cute. There's my Zilla. Mouse with an illness back in Godzilla. Cow, alien, woman, footers. I need to draw more of those. Uzi, pistol. You and cunt title. That was fun for a little while. Edgar Allan Poe. Poo balls. Poo is the funniest word ever. Men only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. They want a big titty with. Yo, fuck, whatever. Bye.